Welcome to Around the Blockchain. Today, we're talking about the billions of dollars in Mt. Gox. Breaking news involving that allotment. Also, huge movement by Justin Sun. He just moved tens of millions of dollars. What is going on behind the scenes at Huobi? And finally, some Matic next year predictions. Is it going to be the year of Polygon? We're going to get right into it. On the top right, holding it down. Well, today we have a triangle. We'll start with AJ if possible. We have AJ holding it down from Ben's office. BTC over USD, especially USDD. Also with us today, one of my favorite guests, of course. Always love having him on. It is Crypto Face, rocking the Born in the 4th of July bandana. We love to see it. Shout out to TC, Tom Cruise fans out there. Where my Thetan levels at. And finally, we have Piano Matty B holding it down. Hey, maybe something special happens if he wins. We don't know. It's Piano Matty B. And make sure you're looking out his window. You don't know what you're going to see outside his warm, cozy cabin with his canine and feline friends there. But it's going to be a great episode. Let's get right into it with the Mt. Gox payment news. Currently, the amount of funds, it looks like it's about $2.7 billion at this price. It is 141,000 Bitcoin is going to be released. Now, calm down. It's okay. It just got delayed by a few months. So we're not expecting billions of dollars of Bitcoin to be hitting the market anytime soon. Users were able to file their claims until the 10th. It just got extended until March. So got pushed back 2 months there and also got pushed back on the repayment deadlines. Now, Crypto Face, I'm looking at some of the volume and I'll just throw some of these numbers at you. Daily volume right now is about $15 billion for Bitcoin. What would, let's just say $2 billion worth? Most of them are paper hands. A lot of them are going to sell. Would that $2 billion from Mt. Gox really affect that $15 billion too much? I'm hearing a lot of different answers. What are your thoughts on that?
By the way, forgive me if you hear a lawnmower in the background. My neighbor decided to have lawn work done the one time, so I'm going to try to speak over it. But shut up out there, jeez. No. Anyways, 2 billion. If it was really if that 2 billion was actually going to act, if it did it like at all at one time, you're talking about potentially flattening Bitcoin to zero if it wanted to. It takes a very small amount of Bitcoin. It could take 100 times less than that, 50 times less than that, to dramatically move the markets if it all moved at the same time and was doing something. But we'll see how they release it, if it's going to be like all at once or in slices, if they release it at all or just kind of delay it back even more. It's been a really long time. So I'm liking kind of the bullish, it's kind of bullish news for right now. The price of Bitcoin's up. I'm in a fatty long right now, the biggest one of the year for me. So we'll see. That FUD's kind of been around for a long time, but it is important FUD. And if they did release it and that Bitcoin wanted to act, it would do a lot. Sorry about the background noise.
Oh, no, you're good. And, with the mute, we don't hear it at all whatsoever. So it's not that big a deal. I want to ask you just a quick follow-up, though. I remember watching your stream. I guess this is around roughly 6 months ago. And you were watching day after day that sell wall at $20,000 Bitcoin. I know it's hard to remember, maybe not an exact dollar amount, but do you remember ballpark what that amount of money was that it took to knock down that wall like Gorbachev?
How much money it took for what? I didn't hear the first part.
That sell wall at $20,000. I saw you watching it for days, and you're talking about it's shrinking. We're gonna break through. Because 2 billion knocking it down to zero sounds really, really scary. So I was just thinking, is that as a past indicator? Is it possible? Maybe depending on exchanges, it wouldn't have that much effect.
Yeah, if 2 billion. So I've moved the price of Bitcoin with a lot less than that. I mean, it's so much with 10 million, split up on 2 different exchanges. So if 2 billion was acting at the same time, like that would just clear out all the exchanges. It doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you people have their Bitcoin on their wallets or other places, not on the exchanges trading. A very, very small percentage of Bitcoin determines the price. It's only what's on the exchanges. Technically, there could be just 10 Bitcoin on an exchange. If that's the only thing that's there, that's what determines the price. That's why I think market cap is really like a fabled figure. I really
Hmm.
think market cap is just a load of it's CAC. It's CAC because
Yeah.
you cannot sell barely anything and get that same price. So now, would all the 2 billion make them at the same time? No, but honestly, if a tenth of that, if like I said, if 100 of that, especially at the right time, hopefully people will come back in and buy back up. But it is a real threat, and 1 billion, 500 million, 100 million, like 100 million could pump the hell out of the price, and it could flatten the price. So yeah, we definitely want to keep our eye on Mt. Gox, like for real, for real. You
Yeah,
definitely keep.
and if some of this sounds a little odd and strange to you, I highly recommend check out the buy walls, sell walls, what that means, and how that can affect the price, and just kind of more understand what he means when just 10 could be on the exchange, and if all those just get pushed down, you can see some dramatic price action there. Now, Piano Matty B, talking about some scary scenarios here, potentially billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, being sold at once, but Mt. Gox, when it collapsed all those years ago, it didn't kill Bitcoin. It definitely dramatically moved down the price. And we saw a similar situation with FTX, where FTX collapsed, obviously, higher in volume, but smaller as far as the pizza slice when it came to Bitcoin trading volume. But FTX barely moved the price of Bitcoin down just a couple $1,000. So Mt. Gox didn't kill Bitcoin. FTX barely pushed it down. Is there anything you can see happening in the next, say 3 to 5 years that could really, really dramatically, push Bitcoin down those sub 2, 3K levels?
Ooh, sub 2, 3K. I'm not sure. Like, part of me thinks that the reason the price hasn't dropped is that there's so much being locked up right now. So people can't just beyond Gox. There's people that all these exchanges have kind of locked their withdrawals. So if that opened up and people kind of had that reverse FOMO of, okay, I'm just going to protect myself and maybe cash out what I do have, I think that could move it. But again, like all these things happening at once and we don't really see the price moving down, I guess that's kind of a sign that maybe we've hit the bottom. But I'm kind of the belief that we have one massive leg down more. Maybe the Mount Gox thing is the thing. But like, can you imagine if 8 years ago you had a bunch of money in Bitcoin and now it comes to fruition? It's hard. Like, you'd like to say, well, I would just hold it, but I would imagine a lot of these people might, buy some houses depending on how many they had in 2014. Like, we're talking about, the people that could have like 200 to 1,000 Bitcoins, right? Opening up. Not that they'll get it right away, but yeah, if that doesn't push the price down, I think it would take some sort of bizarre black swan to kind of put the last nail in the coffin, especially sub 2, 3.
All right. Well, this is unrelated to Bitcoin or Mt. Gox, but do you worry about the ETH 2.0 staking unlock as well? Because it's kind of a similar situation. People had this ETH locked up. They thought maybe only 6 months to a year. Now we're approaching years for several people. So are you worried about the same situation happening then?
A little bit, but people that I'm still like, I can't believe people still stake right now. And I know they did that before, but I'm so gun shy that like, I mean, so back to the Gox. So imagine if you had all this Bitcoin and you could maybe borrow against it. I'd be even afraid to do that. I mean, where are you going to go and borrow against the Bitcoin these days? And with the ETH, I mean, I just put it on the ledger. I don't know how these people still have the nuts to stake it and just hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a very perilous lesson a lot of people had to learn. On
For
that
sure.
note, AJ, it took basically 2 years for crypto, the mainstream audience and even several that were here for a long time. They totally forgot the lesson of not your keys, not your cheese.
Yeah.
How are we going to again forget that lesson? And if so, about what kind of timeline are you giving this?
I mean, I hope that lesson never gets forgotten. Like, I know in crypto, rule of thumb is that you have to have a pretty short memory. If you don't have a short memory in crypto, I don't know what to tell you. Like, a lot of people would just give up if they don't know how to just roll with the punches and deal with things as they come. But at the same time, like, you have to have a short memory. But how short are we talking here? This kind of ties back to the thing, like, when Luna crashed and everyone was like, oh, that's it, guys. Like, we're going to buy Luna again. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, do you ever learn? Like, we had like you have to have a short memory, but you also have to learn from your mistakes, and that is crucial. You know, with the whole Mount Gox thing, like when I woke up this morning and saw that it was getting delayed, I was not surprised one bit by that. It's kind of like when you were a kid and you're like, "Hey, mom, like take me to the zoo," and she's like, you know, like I'll take you next week, and I'll take you next week, and she'll next week you for like 6 months until that one day she's like, you know what, we're going to the zoo. We're going to the zoo, and it'll happen randomly, and that's just normally how things like that go. But at the same time, it's just like I get both sides when people think that everyone's just gonna like unload their bags, and some people probably will. But if Mount Gox was to unload, it'll probably like happen like 10% at a time kind of thing. But at the same time, like I wouldn't sell if I had, you know, like 50, 80 Bitcoin, whatever. I would wait. I mean, especially with the prices now compared to where we'll probably be in 5, 10 years, if we get there. But, you know, I don't know. And then, you know, there's also the question on if we'll ever, you know, go back to all-time highs. Like I remember Crypto Face, for example, was saying, you know, November 21 was like forever all-time high. Like Face, do you still, are you still saying that? Do you still believe that? Curiously, I'm curious.
Kind of, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like 64K top forever. I think if 4 years goes by, we're 1 year into it, and I'm still right, I would say it's consider it done deal. I'm right.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I hope I'm wrong, but that's really just based off of more of like technology, not so much like hating on Bitcoin, but the truth is Bitcoin is slower than others. You can't eat Bitcoin, you can't breathe Bitcoin. You know, there's other cryptos that like are better, but at the same time, you don't have to be the best thing in order to be the number one thing. I think it's going to be a while. I tell you, Bitcoin's best hope, what Bitcoin needs now more than ever is China, just like the old days. China sold all the Bitcoin they mined, all the crypto they mined to us, right?
Yeah.
And now it's pretty much done. And so I hope Chinese are going to be buying Bitcoin back to pump the price and dump it on us again. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. Hopefully
Yeah.
not. You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
hope
an
not.
interesting point, and just reminds me of one of the most bearish things I've heard in a long time is China and Russia. I think this was announced in the last 24 hours, going to be settling oil payments in yuan instead of, you know, there's a dream, there's a hope that maybe it would be Bitcoin because, you know, Russia is typically friendly behind the scenes there. But let's
Well,
move on and
I'll
oh,
tell
go
you,
ahead.
DZ, if you don't mind me commenting on that, you know,
Yeah.
I had an interview with Justin Sun. He says that he's actively working with the Xi Jinping regime for a digital yuan. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A tethered yuan. So as horrible as that is for America with, you know, the whole oil and China, and you know that's been kind of going on for a little bit. Same with like the Arabians and stuff. But the truth is if there's like a digital yuan and that opens the gates for like the real Chinese money, then you know it sucks for America. It sucks being American in that sense, and that we're kind of losing that battle. But as Americans, if we hold that crypto, at least we'll get rich, and that's, you know, it's still good for our country if we get
Yeah,
rich.
if
So
the
yeah.
WhatsApp digital wallet that holds that DC that US DC equivalent or any kind of digital yuan equivalent, if that wallet also holds Bitcoin, incredibly bullish. 1.3 billion people. There's a lot of capital. It's going to be the number one economy, you know, sooner rather than later. All right, let's move on and talk about Justin Sun. Speaking of the Sun here, I wanted to, you know, we got two great TA people. I'm gonna lead with Matty B. Matty B, you know, USDD, it is the stable coin on Tron. There's been a little bit of issues holding this peg to $1. I just, you know, there's just been a fresh drop. If we look at the 24-hour chart here, you can see, you know, it's been at 98 cents. It was holding strong, and then it just had a nice or a bad little dip down to 97. But when you look at that longer term chart for USDD, it looks pretty scary. It's, you know, it's not, it doesn't look too stable in my opinion. So as a trader, you see this movement on this supposed stable coin. Do you see opportunity here, or you see a lot of people potentially losing 97 cents on the dollar?
What is it? What stable coin are you talking about? USD what?
USDD.
USDD. Which one
Yeah,
is that?
currently, I have the chart up right here. You can see this is the Tron, it's, Justin Sun's big
Oh,
stable
okay.
coin right here. This is the 180-day chart. If you look at the one, you know, plenty of time around $1, plenty of time. They've had scares in the past, bounce back. So some are seeing opportunity, being that it went even lower in the past and reclaimed $1. But what do you think when you see this 180-day chart? It just seems like I'm seeing lower lows here, and I'm feeling a little bit averse to potentially participating in this ecosystem.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I would probably never be trading a stable coin, but I mean, I think when it goes down to zero, people start pushing a dead zombie around, and you can get some pumps in there. I'd never be involved in that, but I've never heard anything really that positive. Maybe Crypto Face has some insight in this, but most people that I've seen talk with or talk about Justin Sun has said some shady things. Am I correct to believe that, Crypto Face?
Crypto Face, you've actually talked to the man in person, I believe. What are your thoughts on Justin Sun? I know he's a
Yeah,
fantastic trader, a lot better than me.
well, to be honest, and I'm not one to throw around this term loosely at all, but when it kind of comes to Asian ownership in crypto to us Westerners, we give them a little bit more of a skewed eye. Yet, we worship Alex McCleskey from Celsius. We worship
Michael Saylor.
Curly Q from FTX. Um, and I'm not saying that that the Chinese and Asians have had all perfect businesses, but if CZ was a white guy, if Justin Sun was a white guy, and like I said, I do not throw this term around loosely, man. I think people would say things a little differently. The truth is Justin Sun Tron is an OG. Someone just today in my live stream was talking about. They said, "Thank God, I'm so happy I'm using Binance US." And so I mean, I think people give them a little skewed eye here on the Western side. USDD is very new. Actually, if you compare USDD, do you mind if I share my chart?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I share some stuff? Okay, toggle screens. I'm going to go as fast as I can. Okay, entire screen. Okay, boom. All right. So, are you able to see this right now?
Yes.
This
Yes.
chart right here. So this is USDD. It's pretty new. Yeah, when it began, came out at 83 cents. That's pretty bad. Then it came down to 89 cents. That's pretty bad. 95 cents right now. That's okay. You know what? But when I go to USDT, man, I mean, USDT was at 93 cents. USDT's been around for a lot longer. That's a nice little candle right there. That one pretty darn high. So I'm not really tripping over USDD. The truth is you want to know what really backs USDT? What really backs Tether is Tron, bro. That's why you go to the Tron chart, okay? Tron's been performing better and looking better overall than pretty much any other. Take Tron compared to any other chart. This is the daily on Tron. This looks much better than Bitcoin, much better than MetaMask or Meta tokens, Universe tokens, virtual reality tokens. So Tron, USDT, TRC20 is the Tron, ERC20 is the Ethereum USDT. And when people are moving lots of transactions, right now they're using TRC20 because it costs pennies. There was a time where we're moving Ethereum. When I have to pay my employees in USDT, I wouldn't be using ERC20. It's cost me double digits before, $10, $20, $30, sometimes even more. When you try to mint some NFTs before when it's busy, you're paying like $50, $75 just to use it. And that's not scalable. Tron is much more scalable in my opinion. And we might not know as much on this side of the little ball we call Earth. But I think USDD is probably going to be fine. I don't hold any USDD myself. That is a Tron created stable coin or token. But when it comes to Tether, man, if you took if you took the Tron out of Tether, that'd be a big problem. Then you're talking about a big problem for USDT. So I think people need to, people complain about one time Justin Sun was supposed to give away a Tesla or some people find little things, things happen. But when it comes down to it, I'm a fan of Tron, and I think people are a little skewed just because of kind of where they're from. So
yeah, I think there's a lot to that, and I want to get your take on that. Pianos, someone from the north as well. But first, AJ, chart wise, I'm looking at Tron and Crypto Face is right. This is a lot better than anything I've seen over the past 365 days. What are your thoughts on Tron? Because it looks like it fell nearly 8% in the last 24 hours at one point earlier today. So I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets right now, but I mean, it seems like it's somewhat recovered now. It's only down 3%. So, I mean, do you see a little opportunity here? It seems like strong support at 5 cents.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Tron is one of those coins that I don't really hear about too much, or at least I don't see it much on Twitter. I don't see many people like bragging, like, "Oh, guess what? I just picked up a big bag of Tron." Like, I don't really see that very much. I'm not really sure why. I mean, it is 17th by market cap. It is something like I've kind of looked at now and then, but I've never actually personally traded Tron. It is good that it has like that kind of floor there, like above the 4 cent gap on the chart that Crypto Face showed, and it's kind of in like a descending triangle. So maybe it'll eventually like retest and break out. And hey, you never know. It's really, to be honest with you, it's a coin I'm not that familiar with. It's definitely one I'm going to keep on my radar, especially the fact that it hasn't been putting in lower low, lower low, lower low like every other chart in crypto. So that's definitely something to look at for sure.
All right, AJ, follow up real quick. When you have these older coins that was around pre 2017, we're rolling up on their third bull market. Do you think similar to Bitcoin, there might be diminishing returns for all time highs?
Probably, probably. It's just also a lot of people like to go with like the new fresh thing, and like unless it's like a coin like Bitcoin or Ethereum that has like that real like the accolades, it has like the reputation. I don't feel like Tron has the reputation like some of the other coins that have been around for 3 or 4 years. I could be wrong, but just from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like that to me. So I'm not saying I wouldn't buy it. I mean, I will get into any chart that looks like it's going to pump, like, but other than that, like, it's not something I'd probably like hold long term. Like, what
Well,
is even like the all-time high of Tron? I don't even know that.
yeah, I would say Tron suffers the same fate as MicroStrategy, where the founder is such a force of personality, it overshadows what the actual product is behind the man. You ask most people, what does
Right,
MicroStrategy do? They'll say, I don't know. Don't they just buy Bitcoin, not knowing it's a software
right,
development company? Now,
right.
Piano Matty B, I think CryptoFace brought up a good point. Their country of origin, maybe put a different kind of spotlight on these two individuals. Do you think that we do, maybe over worship a Mashinsky, almost said Zelensky, uh, you know, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, Winklevoss twins, and then maybe give these other people more disparagement?
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I guess we're inundated by our own kind of media system, right? So we don't. I know that I don't hear much about Justin Sun, and what I do hear is just kind of negative, and I maybe that's just when my ears are tuning in. But I mean, we're basically going to be delivered our superheroes by where they live, and in Canada there aren't any. Although isn't the Binance guy Canadian, Chinese
He
Canadian or
was
something
born in
like that?
China, then became a Canadian citizen.
Yeah, so I guess he's our Canadian superhero. But the crazy thing about being in Canada is that there's only 37 million people here, so it's less than the population of California. So I rarely go anywhere where anyone knows anything about Bitcoin or crypto. It's actually pretty crazy. There's some people on my feeds that are from Canada, but they're like one 1%. So it's very weird, and they would never know that the biggest exchange is owned by a Canadian. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and hey, you can claim Vitalik as well. So you always have that in your
That's
back
right.
pocket
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, the human
That's
True.
right.
cyborg
Yeah.
is Canadian. All right, let's move on. We love Vitalik. We love everyone who holds some ETH here. But speaking of ETH, let's talk a little Matic here. Matic predictions. It's been quite the year, showing a huge growth in the DeFi space. Now, whether or not the validity of these numbers remains to be seen. Just thinking of previous things with the Solana network, but looks like total value locked increased by 50 million to just now passing over a billion. This is according to DeFi Llama, and fees collected on Polygon have increased revenue by 97% just recently. Although DEX activity is declining, we're starting to see some other numbers move their way up. Now, Crypto Face, I know you like to trade a little bit more than maybe worry about, what's going on behind what's under the engine here. But what are your thoughts on L2s as far as an investable class here? Is this going to be a winner takes all approach where it seems like Polygon is securing all the major partnerships and everyone else is fighting for scraps? Or could this be like a two protocol, three protocol ecosystem in the future?
Man, so for once I might have like a little bit of insight on like some Web 2, Web 3 stuff, and it's really only because a couple weeks ago someone knocked on my door, and it turns out this person next door is like into Web3 and building this donation thing on Polygon. Long story short, there's actually this project that I'm kind of getting involved in called Real Gratitude, and what they're doing is whenever it's like for realtors when a realtor or a real estate agent closes on a real estate deal, they donate a percentage of what they make to the local community. And what they're doing is they're making a DAO, they're making an NFT. So they're basically, donating on every sales transaction. But they're throwing in the Web3 and then all the NFT jazz with it too. And they decided that they're going to be launching like their NFTs and stuff on Polygon. Now, when I think of Polygon, I think of the Pokemon Polygon. But apparently, like, so I started looking into it, and like, I think Disney's doing it, and yeah, I'm down. I'm not, a genius on it, but really just onboarding the Web3 is just like NFTs, I guess. And so at the end of the day, man, they just gotta make it as simple for your average everyday person. I'm pretty sure they can still use it. I think Polygon works on MetaMask, right? There's our guy. That's that's what I think of. To be honest, that should be their like logo. Polygon should buy the rights to Polygon, the Pokemon, if they really want to attract some, if they like really want to vote. That's
All
what they
right,
should do.
let's see
up.
that Game Freak collaboration. I love it. Hey,
That's so funny.
you got to collect them if you want to get all 150. Now, AJ, what to you seems like the L2 that has the best shot to compete? Is it going to be one of the ones that was here during the 21 run up, or is it going to be some of these newer ones that are like in development as we speak?
I just want to say the first time I saw Polygon, I thought of the Pokemon too. So he kind of had me cracking up right there. There are other like my favorite L2 to trade, like to day trade, is Optimism. That doesn't mean I think it's going to be the most successful one. Personally, like Matic kind of has it all covered right now. Like there's stuff with Starbucks. They have like 1 million partnerships. Like Matic kind of seems like the L2 that's winning to me. And if they kind of keep the momentum that they have up and keep getting new partnerships as time goes on, it's really hard to argue that Matic's not going to be the winning L2. It's actually kind of funny that we're talking about Matic today. I was looking for a trade earlier, a little bit like on my lunch break, and on Matic, market cipher B had a little bit of bullish divergence on the 23-minute chart around like 10:30, and then I waited for the retest on the 50 EMA, and then I went long. I'm up like I was 5x leverage, but with spot it would be 1.7% up. I'm riding the trade out. Just got a green dot. DBSI is -516, looking good. I don't really see the need to run out of the trade quite yet. Hopefully it's working out. I just think it's funny. That's the one coin I traded today, and then we end up talking about it here. So had to talk about it a little bit. Why not?
Yeah, it's Friday at DCA often, and as I read this article, I bought 100. It was like $70.
Nice.
Just
Nice.
as a whim there. Piano Matty B. So we're in the same boat there. Piano Matty B. What to you is going to make these things pop? How can these L2s have their Wi-Fi moment, their smartphone moment, whatever you want to call it? They're moving away from horse and buggy moment. Is it going to be these Starbucks and possible Pokemon partnerships, or is it going to be something maybe we haven't thought about before, like, hey, or maybe it's just buying gas at the gas station just kind of sneaks in under our radar here?
I think long game, it's basically going to be security and performance, right? So I think we've seen that with some of the L2s, that when they get shut down, or people will go for speed and low cost over security until they kind of get bit by that dog. Then they go back to tried, trusted, and people always are complaining about Ethereum. I think they've got such a head start that I don't think anything now will. There might be something, because it'll basically be developed on the shoulders of greatness, so that what's coming up might be the new one. But I think when you trade security and speed, you don't get you don't get security when you trade it for speed. So you always got to kind of look out for that. To me, that's a red flag usually.
Yeah,
That was
there's the yin
Solana's
and the
big
yang.
game, right?
You're gonna lose a little when you gain something else. Real quick, Matty B, +1 just for the GAF. Is that a real GAF PM? I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna give you
What
a
is a
point.
GAF? Is that an
A
acronym for something?
Is
GAF
that Yeti
PM.
in the background, the Bigfoot? Is that what
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah, the
about? The big-
Bigfoot just walked by. Yeah.
Is
Who
that a
knows? I
GAF
guess
though? Is
is
that
that a
what it's
GAF?
called?
I thought it was an audio. I thought it was your piano.
Allegedly.
I'm gonna be honest. All right, that is
I don't know
all
what a
we.
GAF is.
I'm making one right now by continuing to talk about this. All right, it looks like that is all we have time for. And Crypto Face, man, he took a huge lead in the beginning. A couple people, they almost caught up to him, but Crypto Face, you took it home. Feel free, man. Leave us with some parting thoughts, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out. It's at real gratitude underscore. They're doing something pretty cool. Giving back to the community. Gave back a lot this Christmas. They bought a bunch of stuff for families, and I think on my account, I'm getting a little involved. They hold little spaces every Friday where they kind of discuss whatever it is they're doing. And they're doing their thing on Matic and Polygon. Thanks for having me on, DC. You're the man, bro. I saw you on that Shark Tank S show, bro. You did great.
Thank you.
Whatever that show was called.
Thank you.
now.
They
I'm
actually
not-
cut
I'm
out, I'll go and share some. They actually cut out, we schooled him on Tether, actually, because he was pushing Circle. Oh, Circle USDC so much better. Come to find out months later, he's an investor in Circle. Who would have thought? But he was fudding Tether and pushing USDC and said USDC has never lost its peg. And we're wait. If you actually look at the charts, it has lost its peg because USDT's lost its peg.
pegs. Oh, whatever. They all lose their peg for 3 or 4 cents for a couple days. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. So right on, man. Thank you.
But
Appreciate
thank you for
everyone
that
doing
shout
it.
out. That's all we got time for today, Bit Squad. Make sure you're subbing to everybody's channel here, putting out really great content. All three do great TA. Crypto Face has a fantastic indicator. AJ uses it. I use it as Market Cipher. You're going to want to use it on Trading Views. The only way to trade, in my opinion. And Piano Matty B dropping the best hooks in all of crypto. You just can't beat it. I still sing Bit Boy Morning TA. In my head
I love
every
that
single
song.
day.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta love it.
Oh,
So make sure you sub to everybody. Have a fantastic weekend, Bit Squad. And once again, make sure you're checking out Frankie Candles. And also, today's episode brought to you by Presin.io, and BC Vault. If you can crack it, you get a free Bitcoin. So pretty cool to me. All right, until next time, Bit Squad. See you next week.